Hi, welcome back to Low Key. It's not a podcast. I'm Amanda, and today I have with me Lilly Bieri. We are, I don't even know how to explain how
family friends.
Family friend. So her family is good friends with my husband's family.
Yeah.
I was your youth leader for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I was baby.
We had good small group time talking about boys.
And here we are again.
Yeah, here we are back again talking about boys. No, not really. But yeah, that's how we kind of know each other. And so you're in college. So
Yes.
I really wanted someone on the podcast to talk about like college and life. So the last podcast that I did with my friends that I met in college, and we like naturally the conversation just like turned into us talking about the difficulties of college, how we like all three of us switched majors.
Yeah.
And we were just so like lost, but it was like a fun, enjoyable time. And we were all in like serious relationships. So we didn't like we didn't go crazy or anything.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't really party. I was in a sorority, but like it wasn't anything crazy. So
Right.
I wanted to have someone else on the podcast so that we could talk about like you going through college now and like the way TikTok and social media is now and stuff and
Right.
just how different. And I don't know, just maybe we can help a couple people going through it.
Yeah.
Or at least they can relate and be like, wow, this phase of life sucks.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I remember
does.
it was not, it was like the worst phase. I think college is like so overrated, like that phase of life.
Yeah. It's hard. My mom and dad had a really good experience in college, and they like met all their lifelong friends, and they were like, that's the same thing's gonna happen with you and like my sister Sophia.
Yeah.
And I was so like all throughout high school, which I didn't really enjoy high school that much. I was kind of going through it in high school. I was like, okay, college will be good. And then I went to college and I was like, oh, like it's not clicking. Like,
Yeah.
what am I doing wrong? Like, I'm so far away from home because I went to school in Denver for 1 year. So yeah, I haven't really had that like super amazing transformation like from high school to college.
Yeah.
I've kind of just felt like a little bit of just a transition period for right now. So
It definitely is like a thing too, I think, with smaller schools.
yeah.
It's like funny because I always like laugh because my high school was only literally my graduating class was like 60, 70 people.
Yeah.
And when I went to college, Mount Union was a little bit bigger than Geneva.
Did you go to Mount Union?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I went to Mount Union for 2 years.
Okay, cool.
Maybe like 1.5 years.
Nice.
And then my mom got a job at Geneva, so I transferred to Geneva.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit small. It was a good bit smaller. And it was like, it was almost like that Beaver County, like everybody knows everybody's business type of deal, which I hate. And I like did not enjoy Geneva at all because of that.
Right.
But it's like funny because I feel like it's a small town, like college, like a smaller college thing of like, it's harder to make those like lifelong friends.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of people I talked to who went to like Kent State and Penn State and Pitt, like they had such good friend groups.
Right.
Whereas I'm like, I couldn't find that, you know?
Me either.
I don't know what I did wrong. I was the same way though. I was like, what am I doing wrong?
Right.
But I also think too, it's your phase of life. And I do think like it's based on like personality too. And I always thought you were super mature for your age.
Thank you.
You don't act like you don't know. You know you're mature.
Well, I try to be.
Yeah.
For sure.
But you just like hold yourself together very well. And I do think like my mom used to tell me, like being a girl, how like sometimes like as girls we all like secretly in the back of our mind like have these like thoughts almost where we're like, it's like negativity. We can't help but compare ourselves.
Yeah.
And when you're like, I don't know, maybe she said this to make me feel good about myself. But,
No. It's true. I think it's true.
But when you like are a girl and you think like that, it's like hard with other girls because they're like, oh, like she's really mature. She knows what she's doing, or like she knows what she wants. And I almost feel like too, like, I don't know. I had a lot of people tell me in college too, like they felt like I was so unapproachable.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They were like,
goodness.
you have I was engaged. So they were just like,
The dream.
Yeah. Geneva, everyone goes to college to get married. That's like the thing. Everyone says that. I don't know how true that is, but everyone says that. I didn't go. I already was with my husband / boyfriend at the time for like 6 years. So.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, we were together for 5 or 6 years before we got married. But like I remember being there and like I remember struggling because when I was in the sorority, everyone wanted me to like go to parties and fraternity parties, and I was like, no. And I went to like 1 or 2 of them, and I got hit on like twice, and I was like, yeah, this is not for me.
Right.
And I like called Matt crying. I was like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it at all. And he was like, you did nothing wrong. Like,
it just
Guys in
feels
disguise.
it feels wrong, I think.
Yes.
Because especially when you're like in a relationship and you also have like religion's a part of it, and then you're trying to like also fit in with like a group and live this college experience, but like what even really is the college experience? And like I don't think everyone's like meant for it. You know
I
what
know.
I mean? Like for myself, last year at school, it was just like everybody like had their cliques and had their groups, and I just felt like I do not know where I belong.
Yeah.
And I was so far away from home. I was just like everything felt off.
Yeah.
So
I've definitely always struggled with that because this sounds really mean, but I always used to be like, I'm not a weird Christian.
right. No, yeah, it's true.
It sounds mean, but it's just like, I don't know, like I'm not overly like, let me sit, not that that's like weird, but I'm not like, let me like I'm not pushy with what I believe.
Like you're a human being.
Yeah,
and you know
and
everybody
I like,
else is too.
like I enjoy like I love Taylor Swift, which a lot of people frown upon, but like she's my girl. Like I like her, and I think that there's like a good balance of. I mean, I think too, like to not be hypocritical. There's so many things in this world now where it's like if you tell your kid they can't listen to Taylor Swift, well then they basically like can't watch TV because everything on TV is like ridiculous now.
Yeah.
And like I've seen so many podcasts too with I don't know if you know who Candace Owens is.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But so her and like a couple other people that I like watch their podcast or like they've done guest appearance on podcasts.
Yeah.
And she was on Nick Cannon's podcast.
Okay.
Candace Owens was, and she was talking about how Hollywood is basically like it's like she literally says it's like they took the Bible and flipped it upside down.
Right.
And that's what Hollywood's like producing.
Yeah.
And it's like so true though. With every show you watch, it's always like the opposite of what you're learning in church. So it's like if you're gonna tell your kid they can't watch one thing, it's like well you might as well just tell them then they're not allowed to listen to music.
Right.
They're only allowed to watch like the Minnow app or whatever it's called.
Right. I don't even know. I think it's good. Like I'm not a mom yet, obviously, but like to let your kid find their balance between like you raise them as like a Christian in the church and stuff like that. But you also, like I listen to Taylor Swift and I can discern what lyrics that I like follow. Like I don't follow what her lyrics say necessarily, but like I still listen to her music because I think her music's good.
Yeah.
But I'm not like worshiping her by any means. Like some things I won't sing along to just because I feel like convicted by it or something, but I'm still like going to play the song.
Yeah. I think it was really good what you said about like discerning.
Yeah.
Because like that is like, I feel like we've almost gotten away from teaching that.
Yeah.
That like, it doesn't matter how old you are. We should automatically like, if you're filled with the Holy Spirit, like you should be teaching your kid how to discern the Spirit and like discern what they listen to, what they watch, who they're around, their friend groups. Yeah. Like their friend groups are way worse than them listening to music. You know what I mean?
And you have to pick your battles and like choose wisely. And I think it takes failing to understand that, like having the wrong friend group or doing the wrong thing, to like learn that there's better and it's easier to just not sometimes.
No, I know. It's definitely hard. Do you feel like, so what are you going to college for?
I was a elementary education major this semester, but I'm going back to psychology, which is what I was last year.
Okay.
So I've changed my major 3 times.
Yeah.
The first week at Colorado Christian University, I was a worship arts major.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I just hated being a music major.
I
was like, wait, I actually have to like do music theory? No, thank you. I called my mom crying. I was like, I cannot do this. So I switched to psych and I really liked psych because there's like really cool professors who, again, with like discerning things like science and Christianity, like science is real. So is Christianity, like they can go together and kind of like with psychology and that sometimes people like think it's weird, but I think it's really cool.
Yeah. They almost think that you can't follow, like you can't listen to anything on like psychology. You can't be a psychologist, but it's like there's Christian therapists and like
like mental illness is real.
Yes, I know.
Yeah,
I know. I feel like people too, they just want to like push it away.
Yeah,
and it's so good to like have a healthy like mindset of like what, because like even if you do nothing with that degree, at least you have like a healthy mindset on like things where it's like down the road you can help people with things, because you can be like, oh well, actually like I know this diagnosis, or I know you think this way. It doesn't mean that you have to go on all this medicine. It just means, hey, you think a little bit differently and let's help. Like I know a couple ways that can help you think differently, like help with how you think or how you do things. And that's like, and that goes into parenting. Like Anaya actually started like twitching her eyes, like going like this. And Matt actually, I don't know if you know this.
I saw him do it.
He does his eyebrow when he gets stressed. Like his eyebrow will like go a little bit.
Okay.
And there's like a couple other people in his family that like they have like little like, I call them twitches. And automatically I think like the world, like automatically I think a lot of people, you get the people who would be like, oh, like she's starting to have Tourette's. And then you get other people who are like, oh, well, don't rebuke that. Don't accept that. And don't accept that over your family.
Yeah.
And then it's like, there's no happy medium of, okay, what can we do to prevent it? And okay, maybe it's not like a full out, like maybe it's just like TV, for instance. Like we found out we really limited her TV, and it's not as bad when we're limiting her TV and sugar. Like when she's having, we did like no sugar till she was 2. So then as soon as she turned 2, it was like we had like 6 birthday celebrations.
Right.
So the poor girl got loaded up with, we were letting her have a little piece at each thing because I don't know, my heart was like, I feel bad. Like now it's exciting giving it to her. Like I don't know. And so we let her have a little bit. And that was right after that was when she started doing it. So we were like, probably she's not used to having any like artificial like sugar, like cookies, cake. Like she's never had any of that stuff. Right. So it's probably what's causing her, like she's just getting overstimulated and it's not helping when she's getting overstimulated. It's like almost like she's getting like a foggy brain because definitely like with people, she'll like freak out a little bit. Yeah. But I feel like with like talking to certain people that I know, it was like I got people who were like, oh, like you can't accept, like don't claim that over her life. But at the same time, it's like, okay, I am not claiming it. I'm just stating a fact of her eyes are twitching. She's going like
it is what it is. Right?
It is what it is. And she needs a little bit, like she needs something to help her calm down. Or like I actually ended up bringing it to her doctor who did not push anything at all. They were just like,
makes them a good doctor.
Yes, they were just her pediatrician was like, hey, like sometimes this is normal. She gave me a couple things to look out for if they got worse. And then she was like, she told us to like help her with like calming her down, taking her aside and talking to her on the side. Like if the situation's overwhelming, like take her aside, not like doing it in front of people and then not acknowledging what she's doing. Right. Because sometimes kids will do it just be funny. Like in her personality, 100%. Right. She'd be like, I'm cute.
She'd be like, I'm going to do it because you react to it. Yeah. I think a lot of people forget that like therapists and doctors and people who work in that field, like Jesus wanted those things to be a thing. Like he created people to have the knowledge and like the ability to learn those things so that we can use them for good. Yeah. Obviously not all of them are perfect, but neither are we. So like,
no, look at all the pastors that you see like splattered across news pages of like them making mistakes. It's like, we're all just people. Right. Just trying to figure out life. Yeah. And there are bad people in the world. I'm sorry, but there are. Oh yeah. And some of them get into fields that they really probably shouldn't be and they didn't get stopped.
And they use it for the wrong. Yeah.
And that comes along with like when people say, oh, well, God could have done something. It's like, yeah, but he also gave us free will. So it's like if we want to go down that path, we can go down that path. Right. But so what do you want to do? Like, do you know what your kind of like your end game is, your goal? Like, do you know what you want to do?
I'm not completely sure. I've thought about like just going into clinical counseling or I want to do something with kids. So like counseling kids who've gone through some like things that are like traumatic or even like working in the hospital with kids. There's something called like a child health specialist or a child life specialist. One of those, I think it's life specialist. And you go in and you work with kids and their families who are like going through like maybe it's their kid has cancer and they're like just like trying to process all the stuff that's happening and you're kind of with them to like help explain like what's going on but in kid terms and like give them coping mechanisms for when they like get their first IV or their first dose of chemo or like whatever it may be. So I think that's a really cool job.
Yeah, that is cool. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, a girl in my high school class had cancer and she brought in her child life specialist and they like talked for one of our chapels in school and I was like, that's so cool. Like it was the first time I was like, oh, that might be something I want to do because I've never really had that like figured out. Yeah, so that any of those things. Yeah. It also just I'm not a big school girl. I don't like I'm not a good learner and I don't really like school. Like I live at home. I just go because I know that I'll be like happy I did it once I'm done. Yeah. Whether I really use it or not. But yeah, I enjoy learning about psychology and like the brain and why it does what it does and why we react to things the way we do because a lot of it's really cool.
Yeah, no, that is cool. And I think that's definitely like not everyone has a passion for that.
Yeah, I know. It's hard.
So it's like if you feel something for it, it definitely is, I would say, I would go that way because not a lot of people, like I'm not like, that's so like, wow.
Yeah. Like, I just feel like in today's world, it's so necessary.
Yeah, for sure.
Like for teenagers and like how society is, it's just so broken, I feel like. And even just to like learn how to talk to people and help them with what they're going through, even if it's not like in a setting where they're paying me for it. Just like, I can just,
just to be a genuine good person.
Just to like know what to say to people in those situations. Cause I feel like people tend to come to me like, just cause they know like maybe I won't tell anyone, or they like keep it safe with me. I don't mean that in like they come to me. I just mean like, they feel comfortable to tell me things. And so, sometimes I'm unsure of what to say. So I'll like to like have the right things to say. And like when I'm a mom, which that's the goal. The goal is really just be a mom. Like that's all I want to do.
I know.
That's been my goal for like forever. Just have kids. But just with that too, I think it'd be really good to.
Yeah, you just gotta find the guy to give you the right kids.
Yeah, come on now. That's what I'm saying.
We'll make sure we like put an ad like across for you. Looking for strong Christian man.
Yes.
Must provide. Because I don't want
must lead. Yes.
Wait, do you watch Love is Blind?
No.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe you don't watch Love is Blind.
I will.
I'm so disappointed.
This is like the fourth person to ask me.
Well, the newest season was like absolutely horrible. Like, let me just
start it over.
Not like horrible, but like people just weren't on there for love.
Okay.
I mean, although like at the same time though, you don't go on a show and not expect to get famous. So I don't know why they all get their panties in a twist.
Yeah. When
they find out that so and so wanted to get famous, it's like, well then why did you go on the show? Like
that's literally the whole goal, I think.
Yeah. They like I don't know. The people that are on it talk like it's like the only way to find love for that. That was the only way they could find love.
Which is crazy.
Which half of them don't even end up with love.
No, they don't.
Half, like 80% end up with no love.
Yeah.
So it's like, but the one girl on it, me and Matt, I loved it so much because I never like related to something so much in my life. But I love working. Like, don't get me wrong. I 100%. It's like I've taken a step back with our business and it's been really hard on me. And like finding my new role as like a mom, because I've always just, I don't know, I always found my identity in like the new businesses we started. And I almost feel like Matt is like my safe place. And because we've been together for so long. Yeah. So it's always been really hard for me to not be working with him because he's just like my safe place and we just work together. And so we were watching Love is Blind and the one girl was on there and she was saying like I think she said something along the lines of I want to make like a good trophy, I'm a good trophy wife or something like that. And I was like dying laughing because it's like people look at it and they're like, ew, like who is she? Right. But at the same time it's like she's being honest.
Yeah,
like,
she just wants to be a trophy wife.
Yes, she just wants to be home with a guy who makes money and they just want to live their life. Like
it's
she wants to be happy.
It's
and
true.
that's okay. Like, I don't know. There's a lot like, but yet someone on Instagram who like posts videos of them like being a stay-at-home mom or even there's a lot of girls on there who I don't even think like they're just influencers. Like I don't think they literally are just on social media, which she is on. Like that girl is on social media and her social media is like she's basically got on Love is Blind because of her social media. So it's like, I don't know. To me, it's the same thing. So why are you judging?
I don't know.
I thought it was so funny. I don't know why. I just thought you would like love that moment.
No, I would totally agree with that. It's true. I always tell people, I'm like, at some point, I'm just gonna stay at home. Yeah, I'll wash your floors. I'll cook you dinner. Like, you just come home and I'll take care of everything else.
I know. I always tell Matt if he just like lets me buy coffee every day, I don't care. Yeah, like I'll do whatever.
Yeah, it's simple, honestly.
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. I think it's good though that you're, like the expectation you have like out of college and you're just kind of going with the flow. I think that's like how you have to be. For sure.
I feel like a lot of people at my age are like, they think they have to have it all together. Yeah. And nobody has it all together.
Oh, I know.
Like, not even a grown adult has it all together. So, like, well, maybe. I don't know.
No, they don't.
Like,
that's why there's, like, things called midlife crisis. Because when you hit, like, 40, you question it all over again when your kids are all in school.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I don't know really what I want or how life is going to go. But, like, I just have to keep trekking on with what I'm doing now because what else is there to do? I'm just kind of trusting in the Lord's plan and what feels like what gives me peace.
Yeah. So. And it's always good to, for like, I mean, one thing for sure is that I do not ever want, like, I don't think college is like necessary for everyone. Yeah. There are definitely jobs and careers that you don't need college for. And it is a waste of money. But I think different personalities, like one thing that I really struggle with is always feeling like equipped. Yeah. And from like what you were saying earlier, I was like, I feel like, college helps people feel like qualified and equipped. And like, you almost like feel like you're like, I have a certification. Like it almost gives you like a confidence boost. Yeah. And so I do think it is like necessary for some people because I don't know. Like me and Matt, it's like so funny. When we helped with Sam and Kayla's church, we like did a ministry class. And I feel like a lot of people would be like, we're not like pastors. Like, why'd you do a ministry class? But it was because I was like, if I'm going to be like in this leadership, I don't want like
you want to feel equipped.
I don't want to be like people asking me questions and I don't know what I'm doing. Or like, I don't want to be like, I felt so like not.
You want to have the confidence.
I felt like I was like the wrong person to be doing stuff. Meanwhile, I did like literally like nothing. Like if I was gone, like if I wasn't in that situation, like I was not needed at all. Yeah. But like
Still.
just my personality is that I like to like know. I hate not knowing things. Yeah. Like me and Matt's probably like our major fights is when I always say he puts me in positions where I'm like not prepared because I don't want to not know. Like I don't like not knowing things.
Yeah.
And so I think college is great though to set like a foundation for you. Yeah. And I mean, it sounds like what you're going for is like great. I took one psychology class and I loved it. Yeah. I took a sociology class and I hated it. Yeah. That was one thing I did not like.
I actually don't even know what sociology entails.
I think it's like society versus like the human brain. So it's like society.
Oh, yeah. I don't
like
did that either. Both my parents majored in sociology.
The whole thing is that like the teacher was supposed to be like biased. Like you weren't supposed to know what she like believed in, like what she thought. And she would like ask you these like cryptic questions. I took this at Mount Union. Okay. And like, I don't know. She confused the crap out of me. And almost like annoyed me because she would just like intentionally like argue. Yeah. And I'm not a person who like, I don't like to argue at all.
No.
Because I know I usually lose. I'm not good with my words. Yes. I don't know.
I'd rather us just simply walk away from each other. We don't have to argue.
I'm horrible at like, I know I'm bad at talking. I know I say like 1,000 times. Like me
too.
Yeah. And I know that like if someone uses larger words, I don't know what they mean half the time because I don't like to read.
I feel seen. I feel so seen right now.
So when she like was like she like constantly picked fights with me and stuff, and I was just like, I don't like this. Like this isn't for me. Yeah. And I hated it. But I felt like she didn't really teach. I felt like she just basically made us question things. Mm-hmm. And when I talked to my other friend who took a different sociology class, like with a different teacher at Mount Union, she was like, yeah, we like read from our book. And I was like, yeah, I feel like we didn't even read a book. Like we just talked like what she believed. I don't know. She like taught, which I mean, some people do like that, but I just didn't like the confusion of like, it was almost like she was playing mind games.
Yeah, that's not good.
And I don't like mind games at all.
Last year at CCU, I had 2 psych professors, one for social psych and one for just like your intro to psych classes. Mm-hmm. And they like started the class by saying like, we don't want to be biased. We want you to like form your own opinions while also knowing like what the science is behind all of this. So like they would share their opinions but they would also say like this from what I believe is, and then they'd be like, you might believe something different, even though we were all Christians and like I think everybody was, and you know, we might all believe the same things. He left room for us to think about like our own opinions, which I thought was really helpful because it made you think more. You weren't just told one thing and you had to believe that. It was like, well, what do you think?
Yeah, it helped you develop thought processes and stuff. Yeah, that's really
which is helpful for me because then it's easier for me to write about that and like not just say what he wants me to say because then I would write one sentence.
I know that happened with one of my Bible classes at Geneva. One of the professors said something and I didn't agree with it because in my opinion, that's not what the Bible said. Mm-hmm. And I raised my hand and I was like, so on the test, do we answer what you believe? Or do we answer like do I get to put what I believe and like why I believe what I believe? Yeah. And he did not like that. As a man, I think it was found it disrespectful that I asked that. But at the same time, though, if you're a Christian college, like you should be teaching people to interpret the Bible, not telling them what you denomination's beliefs that not everybody's that denomination.
Oh, yes.
that was one thing that kind of drove me insane because I was like,
that is big at Geneva.
Yeah, and it was hard.
People will tell me you will be this denomination by the end of the year. Yeah. And I'm like, girl, try.
I know.
Like, I love my church and, like, what I do. I would never change it for the world.
It's hard, too, because we had friends who, like, they genuinely got confused and went through a really weird phase.
Yeah, it's hard.
With their walk with God because they had people telling them stuff. And it's like, why is everyone, like, your opinion matters? Great. If you want to be heard, post a video on social media. You will be heard.
Go for it.
You know? And, like, there's so many ways to be heard now. Yeah. That instead of going after these young kids and, I don't know, that's something I'm really passionate about, but, like, young people and, like, trying to, like, push what you believe on them. Like, why don't we just teach people how to just read the Bible and interpret it their own way? Yeah. That's one thing that drives me bananas.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I feel like I had a lot of people growing up always trying to like push books and different things on me, and it's like, I believe the Bible. Like,
Yep.
I don't believe a book. I don't believe, they might say something that I agree with, that's great.
Yeah.
But these are people's opinions, and it's how they're like interpreting the Bible. And I do think there are things that can be interpreted differently in the Bible. Well, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of debatable things.
Yeah.
And I just think that we need to just focus on reading the Bible and like teaching kids and teaching young people, hey, this is how you get into God's word, instead of making it this thing where, I don't know, it's almost like people want to listen to like a podcast over because it's like almost like it's more fun. But if they actually knew how to like get through like the hard chapters, where you're just reading about lineage and laws, like if they actually sat down and taught them how to decipher it and how to like why it's necessary to know these things. Because I remember too, like who was it? I can't remember who it was. I did take a Bible class at Mount Union, which sadly Mount Union got rid of
their Bible classes,
their Bible stuff, which it was a good thing I left probably. But they got rid of, I did take a Bible class, and I can't remember what like she believed. There was a couple things she said that was like off, but she didn't ever like mean to like, but she was really good at saying, we read these chapters in the beginning because this is prepares you for the, like, you look at all the people that God chose to be in the lineage of Jesus. And he was saying how important it is and how imperfect all those people were, the things that happened, and even like the laws, how the laws were just unattainable. Like, that's why it's so important for us to look back at those things to see how it's not attainable to be that perfect of a person.
Right.
And I like never really sat down and like thought about it like that. I was just like, this is like kind of pointless, and I'm just gonna read the New Testament because that's more fun.
Right.
And and I was kind of like, I feel like too, like a lot of churches, I feel like encourage you just like, they'll give you like, there's like those New Testament Bibles. They'll just give you those New Testament Bibles and they'll like just read the New Testament, and they don't explain and like help you with your walk through God.
Yeah.
And it's so sad because I think that's why so many people walk away. They get on fire for God. And then it's like, okay, well, now what? And now that the fire's gone, what do I do? And like, oh, now that I read all that, now I have to go back to this? Like, heck no. Or one person says something on TikTok and it changes their entire opinion about God.
Which is like,
it's crazy.
That's a hard thing about social media, is like, you cannot always believe what you hear and believe what you see. Like, you got to fact check. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, it's definitely like a lot of opinions, and I don't know. I feel like a lot of people have really bad, people have really bad mindset to it. Some people have a really good mindset, and some people are like in between. And I think that you kind of just like with social media, you just have to accept that. First off, you have to accept it and be like, this is a thing.
It is what it is.
And it's here. It's not going anywhere. I remember everyone saying about TikTok, like it's going to get banned or something and all this stuff. And I'm like, as a business owner, utilize it while it's here. Like, yeah, it sucks and it's
use
annoying,
it for good.
but use it. Like, you can use it for good. And if you're just gonna sit there and complain about it, why don't you like do something to make it better? Yeah. And I don't know. I actually see a lot of, especially, so I don't know if you're on Threads from Instagram.
I don't have Threads,
but it's like,
I should download it. I mean, I don't know why I don't have it yet. Yeah. I was like, well, I'm not gonna be on Threads.
So we download it because, you know, like our business is social, like we do social media for people, and we download it for that purpose and got on it. And the amount of people that like just support each other on there is crazy.
It's a nice
Threads
social
just
media
like it just like naturally became this place where everyone is just like supporting everyone.
Aww.
I don't know if it's because there's just this like age group on there. Yeah. And I don't know, maybe it's just Threads I see are really positive.
that could be true.
But it's mine, like all my feed when I'm scrolling, it's all positive, like I'm gonna have to download it. I'm here for you, and what do you do for your, like, people just asking for advice on moms, and like I get a lot of podcast stuff because I looked up podcast stuff on there, and so a lot of podcast things came across, and it's people like supporting each other's podcasts. Yeah. And I'm like, this community is like so cool. Yeah. That like everyone bashes social media. A lot of, I mean, like especially like our parents' generation like hate it. Yeah. And it's like, they're like, someone actually, like people are taking a stance and being like, we're going to make this good. Yeah. And like, it's here, so why not use it? Which is like, you kind of have to have that mindset now. Yeah. It's not going anywhere.
Right. In humanities, actually, we were talking about like membership and brotherhood. And like, how can we use that now that technology is so huge? And I actually wrote a paper like last night about exactly what we're talking about. And at first I was like talking about how social media can be bad because people will like literally just stay at home and scroll all day, and like their phone is their best friend rather than like having real community. But then again, there's like people like you and Matt who like want to make social media good and like make it a safe place for people and like a real, like you're showing your real life and like other people's real lives. So it's important to have a good balance, I guess. And try to like make social media not so toxic.
Yeah. Well, we always tell too, like our clients, everybody's all about, like the businesses look at it as something they have to do. And these older business owners are just like, yeah, I was just like, they just want to like post graphics or they just don't see a use in it. They see no purpose in it. They think they're not going to get anything from it. But the people who are big, if you look, it's all like personal brands.
Yeah.
And it's people who like created communities throughout their accounts.
Yeah.
And that even, we always tell people, especially like our Christian clients, where we always say that is like a biblical, like, I don't even know what the word is, but like that's like a biblical thing, community. Like God created us to be in community with each other.
Yeah.
Like we all crave it so much, no matter who you are, because God created every single person that you crave community. And social media, someone created that because they wanted community. And now, and these personal brand people, they realize, these people that have the bigger followings, they realized that they could create these communities and people wanted to be a part of them.
Right.
And like that's all. True. And so it's like, if you have a problem with it, then create a different community. Create a community for people like you. Because there's, I don't even know how many billion people there are in the world now, but
a lot.
There's billions of people in the world that are all looking for, we're all different. We all want a community. And like at least one person's going to relate to you. Yeah. And if it really is all about like how you feel and making people feel better, if you really have pure intentions behind it, you won't care if you only have 100 followers like that. You know what I mean?
100 people is a lot.
Yeah.
Like we see it on social media and we're like, oh, I don't really have that many followers, but like 100 people is a lot of followers.
Yeah.
If you're looking for just
I know
people to listen to you.
Well, that's what Matt always says. Like our one client, they got one of their reels. Like it's so funny. Like it was like just like a plain like B-roll with like verbiage over it. It got like 30,000 views on it. Yeah. And we were saying, you know, when we look at like the ones that only got like 2,000 views, we're just like, we kind of are like, that's not as fun. Like we want the 30,000 views. But at the same time, to get to the money you spend to send out like 2,000 mailers to people, it's like crazy that you just did that instantly on social media. Right. Like you didn't have to wait for it to get to them in the mail. You didn't have to wait for them to open it. Like it was instantly on their screen. They read it, they looked at it and saw it about your business. And we always say like, so many people look down on it, but 2,000, like it is, you're right. Like 100 people, 500 people, that's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah.
It's more than what
half of them might be bots, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
The fake like AI
it works.
Or what was it? Oh, it was Russia. Everyone used to say that Russia has all these bots coming after us.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
It might be them. Who knows? Do you think like social media definitely is like hard on, like, do you struggle with like looking at other people on there and like comparing yourself to people?
I think I did a lot in like high school because I had a phone like way too young. I got my first one when I was 11. Yeah. But it was because we were moving from Denver to Pennsylvania and my mom and dad. You didn't know it was kind of like a pity present. Not in like a mean way, sorry mom. But like it was
she'll laugh. I know your mom.
Yeah, like my sister was getting her first phone. She was 3 years older than me. So like she was at the right age to get a phone, but they were just like, oh, we'll get Lily one too. Like, I don't know. So I definitely like was introduced to social media, and like it was called Musical.ly when I first got it, and I was like a little, so it didn't really matter. But then when I got into high school and like my friends were posting stuff and I was like actually starting to follow people and like to watch people on the internet, it was definitely like draining to see just like this perfect image of people, but that's not like true. It's not like actually real. I feel like dancing videos or like people just talking or like singing or whatever. I definitely compared myself a lot to them, but I don't think it got like unhealthy. I think it was just, like a normal amount for a teenage girl, like wanting to look a certain way, going through like an awkward time. So yeah, I'd say it's better now. I kind of aim toward like more singing videos and like hauls and different stuff like that is what I watch.
Yeah. So. Do you think something like specific helped you to be more comfortable with yourself, with like looking at like comparing? I like helped you compare less? Yeah.
I think I just kind of had to realize that like they're real people too who are probably also struggling and like they're probably watching other influencers saying like, oh, I wish I was more like them. And I think like as my relationship with God grew, like my confidence grew a little bit. I mean, just in knowing that like I do have a purpose, like who cares what I look like? Who cares what, you know, that kind of stuff. Obviously I'm still like those insecurities still pop up. Maybe not from social media, but just in general. But like everybody struggles with stuff like that. And so I just had to like kind of like bring myself down to earth and be like, they're human too. Like you don't need to like idolize these people and wish you looked like them.
Yeah.
So I don't know, just kind of understanding that it's okay. They have the same feelings as you do. Like just because they have a bigger following or like a better body or better hair or whatever doesn't mean they're any less or more than I am.
I feel like that was really good advice. Like, I feel like that's so good. And, you know, for what it's worth, I think that what you said about like knowing like your purpose, like knowing you have a purpose and like your identity, I think it's like so important. And I feel it's like hard to find that now. Like, I feel like there's people who are so extreme on it.
Yeah.
And then you get people who like don't have it. Like you hear so many, there'll be these women who will talk and talk and talk about your identity. And like, it's almost like aggressive, like this is who you are in Christ and da 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 da.
Yeah.
And like, you're like, okay, well like that's a little too much.
Yeah.
So,
or it's like, I don't feel that way.
Yeah.
Like,
and then you get the people who like don't talk about it at all.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, that's why you're struggling so bad is because you don't like know your identity.
Yeah.
And honestly too, for me, I remember one account, there was one girl that I loved her stuff on social media and I was like, I literally just want to be her.
Yeah.
Like I aspired to like be her. And she's such a cool person. But then I looked at all the hate comments. One day I was like scrolling through her comments and I was like, holy crap. Yeah. Like the amount of people.
Can you
like,
imagine seeing those every day?
I know. And like some people like coming at people's like looks, and one of the fitness girls I follow, someone came at her for like saying she doesn't lift enough, and they were saying, I think they said like she only like deadlifts like 40 pounds, and she was like, by the way, like that's my warm up. And like I was just doing the warm up for the video, and it's like stupid little things like that.
Yeah.
When she's genuinely trying to normalize fitness and health, and that you don't have to look a certain way. Like she's creating the healthy version of health on social media, and people are coming at her for not lifting enough or not.
Right. Like, would you say that to her face?
No,
you wouldn't. So why are you hiding behind your phone?
I know.
Like, I just think it's sad. So dumb.
It's like sad to think for people.
Yeah.
But it's definitely hard being a girl. Like Matt does not struggle with it at all.
Yeah.
He never goes on there and is like, oh, like this guy's jacked. Like
right.
No, he's sending me stuff saying like, look how good this guy looks.
Yeah, I know.
Like he doesn't feel like any type of insecurity at all.
You're like, wow, must that be nice?
I know. Meanwhile, I struggle. Like I really struggled when we started doing stuff on social media for businesses, because I had to do like research, I call it, like, but I had to see these other people, and we'd look at like influencers who could come in and do things for our clients that will like benefit them, because for business owners, it's very beneficial to hire an influencer to come in and post your, like, try your stuff out. Like, give them free food and let them try your food and promote your business on social media.
Yeah.
And so I would look at influencer accounts and, like, different things. And I remember just always being, like, so mad at myself for not bouncing back fast enough from having a Naya, or I talk too fast, I don't talk clearly, I say like a lot. I always tell Matt, I'm like, why did we go into this field, and why do I have like the means to do a podcast?
No, that's not true.
I hate it, because I'm like, I want somebody else to do the podcast and I'll just like cheer you on.
No.
But I do, like, I have a big heart for, I always felt overlooked, like through high school, through college.
Yeah.
I always felt like I could add value to people.
Yeah.
And I didn't get like a chance to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like once I became a mom, my mom, it almost like was like, oh, there's other, like I almost like looked at people differently from being a mom, and being like, it's almost like, I don't know, I just had this new, like these new like lenses to see people through. Yeah. And I was like, wow, like so-and-so has such a great story. Like someone should hear it. And then naturally I feel like I told Matt, I hate being the center of attention. Like I don't like because I know I have a lot of flaws and I don't want people picking them out.
Everybody has so many flaws.
And
though.
I told him, though, this is like the perfect opportunity for me to like give my heart to like encourage people to share their stuff because, you know, not everyone has the means to do what we get to do.
Right.
And I know like there's a thousand, I mean, there's so many people that have such great stories, especially in our area and like in our, even our small like friend group that I'm like, people need to hear because it's relatable.
Yeah.
And, you know, we all go through things and I don't know. It's like, I don't know. Social media, I feel like can be good because you realize you're not the only person who feels like you're sucking as a daughter or sucking as a sister or sucking as a wife or a mom or a friend. Because we all are selfish and we all do dumb things. Yeah. We can't control it. And at least social media like normalizes it a little bit.
Right. Yeah. I'll see something that's just like words on a screen with like dramatic music in the background. But I'm like, I relate to that. Save. And then I'm like, I get that little bit of like, someone hears me. Like, someone gets it.
No, for sure. I forget. There was one the other day and it talked about, I want to say it was talking about, it was something like I really want the motivation to like work out and like have that body and drink, but I really want to drink Starbucks all day and go to Target and Target be my walk, like my daily my daily walks and like different things like that. And I was like, oh, I relate so much, but it's probably not healthy.
You're like, but I'll save it anyway.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
It's true.
No, yeah. I definitely like, that's one thing that I feel like too with threads, especially is people will like follow each other and be like, hey, like I feel like they'll save stuff and be like, you should check out this and listen to this. And they'll comment and be like, they'll compliment other people on their content that they're doing and like encouraging them in their content.
That's really cool.
And and I don't know, maybe that's just for me, but I feel like it's like crazy. It's kind of cool seeing, I feel like everyone's getting sick of the like rip apart stuff, you know what I mean? Even like Instagram, it's funny because even Instagram, everyone bashes TikTok, but me and Matt find ourselves more on TikTok now because we're like, we feel like it's so much more upbeat and like happy. And
I love TikTok.
Yeah, and
I
encouraging.
can't lie. It's funny.
Yes.
It makes me laugh.
It's
like,
relatable.
I'm on the right TikTok. I'm on the right
algorithm.
Algorithm. Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe
the algorithm knows me. It's funny because Matt will send me like one inappropriate reel on Instagram, and then all I'll get is these like reels that these guys are like sending these to your wife, and I'm like, why? Matt sent me one. Like, why am I getting all these reels? And he always laughs because I was like, you get the dirty.
Yeah, it's wild. Like, it's wild. Your whole algorithm will change.
Oh, I know. Instagram's horrible with the algorithm. I feel like it never like. I think because we just do so many things. So, for instance, like we have a fitness client, so like I'm always looking up fitness stuff for her, and then a salon and. We have a contractor and there's like so many different industries, like our church even we do stuff for. And then there's another church that actually pays us to come out and do stuff. And there's so many different industries that I'm always looking at stuff that I feel like my algorithm doesn't know what to give me. Yeah. It's just like, here you go.
It's confused.
Yeah, it's so confused. But TikTok, it's always solid.
That's good. That's good. Mine's just entertaining and funny.
Yeah. No, I know. I have been obsessed with watching New Girl lately, and I swear your phone listens to you because all of a sudden TikTok started. I started seeing like clips from New Girl. Yeah. And I was like, what the heck? Yes. It knows that I'm watching that show.
It's crazy. I'll like flip off a show or I'll like be done researching something and then there it is right on my TikTok.
I know.
And I'm like, what is going on?
It's literally crazy. Mm-hmm. Are you still friends with like your friend group? Would you say they're more from like high school, college, or just kind of like a mix?
I would say I'm really close with like Jesslyn still from high school. I'm not very close with any of the other girls. I keep in contact with them. Yeah. I would say that we all like went on our own
That's
ways.
Normal. Yeah.
Yeah, we were glad to. I graduated with 17. So
yeah, that's crazy.
We
really know each other.
Yeah, like we did our best to like get along, but BCC like it wasn't great all the time. There was always something happening.
Yeah. But then everyone's in it because there's only 17 of you.
Everyone's a part of it. So it's just like, and there was only 6 girls.
Oh, wow.
So it was wild.
I didn't know it was that small.
Yeah, it was really small. We started with 25 in 9th grade.
That's crazy.
And then people are mean at BCCS, so that many people left. I literally think that's why, but
it's crazy.
Who knows? And then in Denver, I got really close with a couple girls who I still talk to.
Yeah.
It was hard leaving them, but I was glad. It was relieving when I like actually found out that I would be coming home. Not because of like the people necessarily, but I just definitely didn't find my place there.
Yeah.
So that's okay. But now I have a couple I would say really good friends at Geneva, but I only really see them on campus. So
Yeah.
And then Bryce and Liz, I'm really close with them, the Promise Blend.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have a couple good friends.
Yeah. It is like hard. I didn't really keep any friends from high school. I wanted to get away. So which I know you relate to that.
I wanted to get away.
So I wanted to get away. So I went to Mount Union, which was only an hour and a half, which wasn't that far. But
it'll feel far.
Yeah.
That would feel far to me now.
It was more like an hour, like 45. But I was like, I can't be here. I don't want to go to school with anyone that I went to high school with.
Yeah.
I just want to start over. I did not like who I was in high school.
Right. No, me either.
At all. I feel like I was such an idiot and like, I don't know. I feel like I was like bratty and I like was like flirty, but like, even though I met Matt at 16, like I still was like,
little flirt.
That's why I told you when I used to be your youth leader, I was like, I know you guys like boys. I know, because I was like that. And it wasn't even that I liked boys. I just knew I got attention from it. And it was like something I like couldn't stop.
Right.
Was that guys liked it that I could like play sports and I had a cute little butt and I got told a lot.
It'll do it.
In high school. And I like, even when I was dating Matt, like I noticed like I would feel so guilty because I liked the attention that I like, because I went to school far away. So all the guys would be like, I don't think they understood first off. They didn't understand our relationship. Right. But I was in a field where you'll like this. So I was in a field where I was an exercise science major.
Okay.
So
lots of guys, I'm sure, in that field.
Oh, like a lot of guys. Yeah. And they like the girls because they're like, oh, you're into like sporty things. Even though I didn't play a sport there, like they still knew like I was like decently athletic because of high school and stuff. Yeah. And the one lab I did, so it's like exercise science is basically like it's like basically looking at like exercise, like it's exercise science. Like you look at people and you do different labs. So our one lab, we were in like sports bras and spandex. Oh. And it gets even better. We did a skin fold test, which is where you like pinch your fat and you measure it.
No, I think I would die. I could not do that.
So this one kid came over and they have to go here.
Oh, they do it to you.
They did it. We did to each other. So this guy in his boxers is in front of me, and I'm like going on his thigh, and I'm just like, why is this happening? Like
that would make me feel guilty.
Calling him and like I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. But even then, like it was like so awkward. It was so awkward. But it's still though, like I liked like the attention, like and. So like I did not like, but that was in college even. But high school though, I felt like I was so, I don't know. I just didn't know what I wanted. I got bored really easily. I didn't know why I got bored. And I didn't know that until I met Matt. I just needed someone to just rein me in and just like, I almost like needed someone to like lead me. Yeah. And it sounds like weird to say that because I think like with our culture now, it's like women, we need a voice. But I literally needed he came in, like I met him and I don't know why the moment I met him in my head, I was just like, oh, this is who I'm marrying. Like I just know.
That's what I've heard from everybody. And I'm like, what? I'm so excited for that. Like whether it's now or in like 2 years. I'm like just so excited.
It's always when you're not expecting it. Cause like I was like kind of in a relationship with someone else.
Girl, you're just exposing yourself.
I don't even care.
It doesn't matter. This is like, the real. This is a real 10 thing.
10 years ago, yeah, this is a real thing, and maybe people will relate to this. But I was basically the guy I was with was not very good to me. He was a nice guy, but he did not things. He liked girls too. We'll just say. And I basically just like, I always like needed someone. My parents knew this. My mom always said this to me, that she knew like the reason they let me in relationships was because they knew I needed to be in a relationship. I like needed someone. Okay. I'm not good like alone at all. I'm not a lonely, like when I'm home alone, I go crazy with Anaya. Like me and Anaya, we just drive around sometimes because I can't be home alone. I don't know what it is. I just can't do it. Yeah. And so when I met Matt, I was literally at church camp telling God, I'm done with boys. I'm going to fix my life. I promise. Like, I promise I'm a horrible person. I know I'm a horrible person. I know I'm mean. I know I'm like, just as much as the guys take advantage of me, I take advantage of them. Like, I'm a horrible person. I lie. manipulative. Like, I'm horrible. I know. Like, I know I'm horrible. And I had to put on this fake Christian girl front at church and with my parents. And I know I'm not that.
Yeah.
And it was like killing me inside. And I remember just like sobbing. Like, I didn't even say much after that. Like, I was just crying for like an hour.
Yeah.
I go to get like a snack and all my friends are like around Matt. And this kid comes up to me. He's like, hey, that kid over there likes you. And I was like, why did you have to say that? Because now I want to go find out who this guy is.
Yes.
Like, I had it in my mind I was gonna go back and like tell the kid that I was like kind of with that I was like gonna go back and tell him, no, we're done. Like, we're done with this. He was a lot older than me, and I'm pretty sure he cheated on me a couple times. He denied it, but I had like a lot of girls tell me that he did.
Okay.
And he's a great guy, I'm sure now. Like, I don't hold anything against him.
Young,
it's high school. Yeah, he was like a 17-year-old boy who was dating he was like, I'm pretty sure he was like 18 at one point. And I was like 15 or 16. So he was a good bit older. He was like 3 years older than me. And I remember just being like, I was going to be done with him. And then me and Matt like had like 3 conversations. And I was just like in my head, I'm like, why? Like, why did this happen? Yeah. And like, I remember driving, we left church camp because there was horrible signal there. So we couldn't really text. And driving home, I'm like texting him. I'm like, why is he not answering me?
And you had bad service?
I think I either called him or texted Matt. And I was like, why are you not answering me? Like, I thought we like had a vibe. Like, and I remember like to this day, he'll still be like, I didn't know you liked me. He was like, you didn't seem like you liked me. And I was like, really?
That's so funny.
But from like high school though, I always like, when I went to college, I wanted to start over. I wanted like a new me.
Yeah.
And when I got to college, I realized that all the people from high school, they all go to college.
Yeah.
And all those people that were at my high school, the similar personality types go to other schools and go to college.
Yep.
So I was like very disappointed because I thought I was going to find like that one best friend that we like share life together forever. Yep. And I met 2 of my really good best friends now, Mackenzie and Rachel, and I had them on the last podcast. Mm-hmm. And it's like funny because they did not meet the expectation that I had in my brain at all. And it was like hard for me in college. Like when I was with them at Mount Union, it was so hard for me until recently, honestly, like until probably about 2 years ago, when I had Anaya, like, and everything went horrible with the birthing of her. Mm-hmm. And those were the people that were calling me and praying with me and bringing me food and making sure I was okay, offering to watch Anaya. Yeah. I was in Rachel's wedding and she felt like so bad that because she got married, and I was only a month old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you were I was very postpartum.
Fresh postpartum in a dress. I wasn't even allowed to walk up. I was just allowed to start walking upstairs because of everything that happened. I was like too weak to go up and downstairs. We had to move our bed to our living room.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, I was just being able to go upstairs and stuff. We just started putting an eye upstairs. And so we went to her wedding and stuff. Like, it hurt to stand in heels. Like, I remember like crying to Matt, like, why does it hurt to stand in heels? Yeah. And all this stuff. But like those 2, I remember being like, those 2 really like, I was like, this is like what a real godly like Christian friendship. This is what friendship's supposed to be like. Yeah. And I had this like fantasized, like, we're going to live next door to each other and we're going to like be BFFs and all this stuff. Yeah. And when it didn't happen, I almost like got mad and pushed people away. Yeah. And now that I like grew up and had a kid, I realized, wow, friendship is not like, it's the people that will call you and pray with you. Like when I had my miscarriage, Mackenzie like literally called me and was like, you're not allowed to hang up. And she was just like praying over me. And I just remember sitting in the hospital, like me and Matt, like we weren't even crying. We were laughing because we were just like, that's like who you want in your corner. That's the people you want to surround yourself with. Yeah, you feel. And I didn't know any better like before that. Like I didn't know that's what real friendship was. Yeah. And so to encourage you,
no, for sure.
What like how you feel like that's like completely normal. For me, that was normal. There are people who like. Kudos to them for finding those friends and those girls that they are BFFs and like sticks by each other's side and they have each other. But I kept finding myself, I call it throuples, which is probably not the right term at all. It's probably a really inappropriate term I just said.
Well, let's see what you mean by that.
Like 3 friendship groups. Like I always find myself in like these 3s and I'm like, why the heck? And then one day,
it can be so toxic in 3s.
This is why you get a husband that humbles you. One day Matt was like, well, God does 3s. He was like, God, the Holy Spirit, and Jesus. And he was like, that's 3. That's a Trinity. Yeah. He's like, that's why you keep getting stuck in Trinities. And I'm like,
you're like, which one are you going to be today?
Humbled me so quick. And I was like, what the heck? Like, I don't want it though.
Yeah. I feel like in high school, I just settled for like what was there, and I was like okay with that. Like
Yeah.
there was definitely like the cooler girls, and then like the girls who like were chill and like Jesus and like didn't go and do anything wrong, but I just like I was attracted to the fun and like doing all the bad things and like and then being like a worship leader on Sunday at church.
Yeah.
And I was like there was like I went through a really like down time in high school where I was just like super depressed, really anxious. And I was like, God, I didn't even like want to act like you're real. Like I knew God was real, but like I was like being stubborn and like I don't even want to like acknowledge you, but then I would go sing on a Sunday. So like I was definitely living a double life and just settling for bare minimum from myself and from the people I was around. And you know, senior year came around and like things got better. I was definitely like growing in my relationship with the Lord. And I went to CCU. I feel like my personality changed a little bit, like moving and like being around new people and being by myself. I like could really think. Like I don't know if I like had more time to think or if like the Lord was just working on my heart. A lot changed last year. And then I just like this fall, I just feel like I've become like a different person, and I've just been trying to like learn who that is.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, I'm not going to settle for people who aren't going to help lead me in the right direction and who won't listen to me when I help lead them in the right direction. I'm not going to like deny people. That's not what I mean. I just mean like I want to surround myself with people who we help lift each other up and like we're leading each other towards, you know, the Lord and like praying with each other and being with each other in that way. And obviously like we all fail, but that's when you bring each other up and like
for sure.
fill each other up. So,
and I don't think there's anything wrong with you saying that, because I think too, it's on you to create that atmosphere too.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
And I think we're so quick to be like, oh, like how could do they not think that about me now? That's why they're not friends with me.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, like you create your community and you create who you want around you and your atmosphere and what works for you.
Yeah.
And there's people that are going to fit that mold and there's people that aren't, and that's okay. And but there's nothing wrong with, I think, saying that at all, because you're gonna, as long as you're the one who's opening the space and you're not being like hypocritical and expecting that of other people, like you're doing it as well. I think that's like 100% fine to say.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think like the Lord convicts us of certain people of certain things and other people of not the same things.
Yeah.
And I think right now in my life, it's just that I need the right people around me and people who I can say no to, because I have a really hard time saying no, which has always gotten me in trouble. And like in scary situations or just in trouble, like literally just gotten me in trouble.
Yeah.
So like he's protecting me in that way, and I'm like willing to listen, because I think I'm really focused on my relationship with the Lord right now and like concerned about it. Not in a bad way, but just like I really want that to be like my prime focus.
Yeah.
Is like my relationship with him and him coming first in everything. And like that's what I want in a husband, that's what I want in my friends, for them. Not even not for me, like for them. It's so important. Like once you get there, it's like so relieving to like have that be number one, and like have like that means he's your number one best friend.
Oh, for sure.
And he wants that too. So like there's not, it's way better than what a lot of people think it is.
No, I think so too.
Yeah.
I've been asking everybody what is one piece of advice that they would like give to someone, like based on what type of like what we talked about on the podcast. So for you, I wanted to ask you, what is like one piece of advice that you would give someone, maybe like one thing they could like someone could take away from this podcast, of if they're around your age, they're college, they don't really know what they want to do with their life, they're kind of just stuck, they feel like they don't have good friends and they just want to fix their life. Because I feel like that's like definitely for me, that's been a theme in my life of I just like want to fix, I just need to do something to just fix how like miserable I am, in all honesty, like how miserable I am. I don't like my life, I don't like my friends, I don't like the people around me. So what is like one piece of advice you would offer a person feeling like that?
I would say don't wait for something to change. Like do something about it, whether that be like go to your church and ask for prayer, or like lean into the Lord more. I like to journal a lot. It really helps me like think through the things that are like flooding my mind, makes me, like making me so overwhelmed. I journal and it's usually turns into a prayer. So I would just say, like, if you're feeling stuck, go do something about it. Like go talk to somebody, find a peer, a professor, somebody in your church, your mom, if your dad, if you're close with them, just like start that process of change, if you because usually that's just what you need.
Yeah.
So maybe
That was really good.
well, thanks.
I like that a lot.
I should take my own advice.
Yeah, I know. I say that all the time.
No, I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
It's easy to say it, but then do it. And that's like something that I've done with myself is like I told Matt, I feel like I was being a bad mom, a bad wife, a bad friend. Like I just felt like I was being bad at everything I did, like a bad business owner. And I was just struggling so hard.
Yeah.
Hence why I like started this podcast mainly was because I felt like I can't be the only one who feels like they're sucking at everything they do.
It's true.
And the one time he said, okay, well, what would like make you happy? And like I like explained my life to him and he was like, okay, well, that's like none of those goals are hard to reach. You could like probably reach them tomorrow. He was like, so why don't you like reach out to, and I did, I reached out to our pastor's wife and I talked to her and I told her like, I'm really struggling. I just like, I don't know what to do. Like, I just need help and I need to get involved in church. I'm not the kind of person to not get involved.
Yeah.
And so, so I think that was like really good advice. And I started doing that and I'm in the process of doing that. And I can tell you that it definitely like it lifts a weight off of you when you start when you just make choices and just do it. But so I just wanted to thank you for being on my podcast.
Of course. Thank you.
I love like talking to you.
Yeah,
I love
fun.
that we haven't really talked like in a long time.
I know. Here
like
we are.
literally since you graduated high school, like had a deep conversation. So I was excited for this.
I know it's fun. We've
I
grown.
love your heart. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I do. But I just want to
sweet.
thank you for being vulnerable and just like being open and talking and just sharing your struggles and just your life.
Anytime, girl.
It's fun. Thank you for watching and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow me on all my social media. And we're looking forward to talking with you next podcast.